Hi there, folks. Simmon here. This is another 2021 TAC Open tournament match, this time between me and ManaT, and this is my second and final game in round 3 before we move on to the matchups for round 4. And so ManaT is a tough opponent. He is a good player, a very strong player. He even split, I believe, one of his match against Nohat Coder. So, strong player. And also has been helping a lot with some development projects. And he has been the main creator and contributor to the TACbot in the Discord server, which is how you can play asynchronously right there in the Discord server, pulling from PTN Ninja images to show what the board looks like and being able to make your moves and whatnot right there in the Discord. It's a really cool tool and a really great addition to the community and how we've been able to play a lot of great games on that. So that is my opponent, and so he is technical and strong, and this should be a very tough matchup, so it could go either way. And again, let's look at the time controls and everything. It is the standard for this tournament, 6x6 size with a 2 Comey. That is 2 added to black score at the end of the game. If it goes to flats, then there is no road. Standard size with stones and capstones. Tournament game type. ManaT is my opponent. 15 minutes on the clock with a 15-second increment, meaning 15 seconds added to my time after every turn. So that is it. We are ready to go. Let's get this show on the road right here with game 1 of Simmon versus ManaT. And it looks like I am white right here in game 1 and ManaT is black. So let's get it started. He says he's ready. Making the first move right up there in A6. Let's see where he goes. Opposite corners. Interesting. I'm going to go with the Knights opening here. Playing that first stone. Opposite corners, I feel like, is nice when dealing with this Knights opening because you can come across and sort of just go straight for the edge crawl. I know some folks were talking about that earlier, but he's not doing that. He's deviating. Even though he had momentum, he went for the deviation, which I find interesting. So he came down with the capstone. I placed up here, changing directions, because I know the capstone can now come up and cut off my horizontal threat. And he went ahead and did that. So I'm going to come down and place below here at E2. If he does come over with the capstone again, I'll just drop over here to the side. Looks like he's going vertically here. And I'm going to match that, keep this going. He does have the capstone available to come across, but I do want to put on some pressure, maintain this momentum for as long as I can. Okay, now I've got attack threat. He has to make a capture here if he wants to stay alive. He does decide to go for that capture with the capstone. Now, okay, so this is tricky because if he plays up here at B6, he can play anywhere along here and make a capstone throw to complete a road along that line. Now I could decide to just play B6 first, but then he's going to switch to this vertical line. I don't really want that, but I can just cut that off with a placement, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to play this defensive move up here at B6. And I think that'll give me a little more breathing room. Currently, I'd say he's in a better position on this board. I thought about dropping my capstone here at D3, and that might have been the right play to make. But I don't know. I might be looking for a different place to play it. But I am waiting quite a long time to drop my capstone. And that could shake things up a little too much in a way that I'm not too fond of. But we'll see. ManaT now taking his time, trying to think of what to do after I placed here. I find that interesting because he had to know that I would just place at D2. Maybe he was expecting a capstone there instead of a flat. But ManaT is, I think, more accustomed to playing asynchronously, and so it doesn't have to worry about time as much as most other folks do. But I play way too fast in general, and that could help him out. Okay, so he goes there. See what he's doing. I'm going to try to build around here at the bottom and just keep going in that direction. Keep going for that horizontal road here below. And he may cut me off at some point. I'm worried about that. If he does play at B1, I feel like a capstone might be good at B2, but also not great at B2, because he'll probably just come over with this flat, and then my capstone isn't isolated. It can still come down onto the flat on B1, but it's not in a great spot. Don't want to get my capstone stuck up against the edge like that. Okay, looks like he's trying to make that horizontal connection here. And I get that. I get that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and make this move. Okay, so this move has a couple advantages to it. So I'm able to make this anchor point for the horizontal road, but I'm also able to work towards this vertical one at the same time. And I feel like that's nice. I have this flat here at C3 that can come up onto C4 if he does make the threat by placing at A4. And so that's not too much of a worry. If he does make any sort of capture moves there, I could drop a capstone and use that. So I might be looking to drop a capstone here at C3. Looks like he has dropped that first. And I have momentum here. I don't think he can win in any way immediately. Okay, so now I drop this flat. Now I have attack threat that he has to respond to. And how will he respond? This is a really tricky position for me. It's a much better position for black right now. So ManaT's doing a really good job of really taking control of this board. So I am definitely on the back foot. Hopefully I can do some work once I get my capstone down. I'm going to place it right here. He's probably going to capture up with C3. If he does capture up with C3, I might drop a wall at A4 so I can come across there. Ooh, that's risky too, because if I drop a wall at A4 and he places at B5, that's a threat two ways, and there's really only a way to cut off both of those, and that's with a D2+. The reason it's a threat two ways is because this B5 can capture up here for a road, or it can place at A4. So I am going to drop the wall. I do need to stop this immediate threat. He's going to place at B5, which is really great. I'm going to have to come up with D2+, or no, I'll probably do F2+. That works better. F2 plus is my move here. I do lose my anchor point, but that's to be expected. Kind of knew that was going to happen. I won't be able to renew my threat. So he's probably going to drop a wall here or here, probably on F2. If he drops a wall on F2... Okay, no, so he doesn't. He places a flat there. Okay, now I do... Okay, so not attack threat, but very close to one. I come over with the wall. Or do I? No, I think I might do something a little more risky, but more fun. Oh no, I just lost. Nope, he saw, yeah, I lost. He can take this C4 stack, spread it down onto C3 and C2, and I lose. So I didn't look at that clearly enough. I should have just come over with the wall onto B4 instead of making that capstone move. It wasn't the right move. But yeah, so good game to ManaT. I really just screwed that up. I should have taken a little more time, again, playing way too quick. So that move, I should have responded with this wall coming A4 to B4. And that would have been able to come across onto C4, or if I needed to, jump across onto D4. So here is game 2, this time with me as black and ManaT as white. I'm going to go adjacent corners. I'm going to go ahead and play up here, kind of do my normal opening for black. Start that edge crawl off. Try to get some momentum in my direction. I do have momentum now, but he can easily cut it off by placing at A2 or A4. Well, he decides to place at C3 instead. Interesting. And this is where I drop a capstone. I feel like a capstone is strong here. It's starting to get in sort of like this area where white's going to be bringing their pieces together. I feel like the capstone is pretty strong in this spot. And I'm going to go ahead and just force them to make captures if they want to make a road threat. And I will continue to place upward. So I'm placing up here at B5 so I can maybe come over with C4 to the left, make that threat in the vertical direction, and just kind of work towards that vertical road while white's kind of busy on this horizontal one. White might decide to come over with the capstone early. And if they do, I'll probably come up onto B4 with my cap. No, maybe not yet. Yeah, I will. They're going to fill in at B3. I'll play at B2. I'm going to play up here. Again, ManaT's in a better position than I am here. My opening isn't super great. Going for this edge crawl is really risky and doesn't work too well. I think that this weird opening I've started has stopped working now that people are aware of it. It was really only functional because people didn't know how to respond to it yet, and it was new, and it kind of threw them for a loop. But I'm all right with my current position. I'm going to come up with my flat. I know that I can come down and recapture on this at any point because I got the capstone right here. White, if they're smart, they'll probably fill in at A4 and then come over. Okay, no, they're not going to do that. All right, I'm going to play here at A4. Now, if they come up, I can come down. That's fine. I have no issue with that. But if they place here, I'll come over with B3. And that is essentially Tinue. And so if they do place at F3, it is Tinue for me and I'll win. But if they come up, I can come down and capture with the capstone and have some decent positive flat count differential moves and some solid attack threats very soon. So I don't think I'm in too bad of a position here. Okay, so he does decide to go down with it instead. Interesting, that's a smart play. I like that play. I'm going to make this one. So we don't have attack threat here, but I will win a capture war on this A2 piece, so that's nice. I imagine he's going to play at F3 now. And I do have this E4 spot that can come down and cut off any horizontal threat, so I'm not in too bad of a position here. It's not great, don't get me wrong, but it's also not too bad. Okay, so I will, if he places here, okay, so he does do that move. I can't place here because he will take that. So I'm going to go ahead. Do I want to make this E4 minus move now, or do I want to capture? Okay, let's see what I got. All right, I've got, if I capture up, that's 3. So 1, 2, 3. And if he captures over, and then I capture down, that's, okay, so that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And so I'll get 6, but 4 will be black. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So wouldn't be able to make attack threat immediately. If he places a wall here, okay, so I am going to capture here first. So the thought was, if I make this capture war here onto A2, he'll drop a wall there, but then I'll just be able to come down and smash it, right? Except I wouldn't if this hadn't been captured first, because if I did, he would just get a road by capturing over onto A3 with this slot here. So that is why I did the E4 minus before I made any capture onto A2. And so that is pretty important to be able to cover that first. Okay, so he recaptures. And this is where I wall here. So my thought for walling here and not here was this. If I walled here, he could throw this down and have a pretty solid position, and then my wall here would basically be useless and wouldn't be able to do anything. And so here, if he does decide to place or spread it out over to F3, that's fine. My wall is still valid in that spot. And I can still do work on it, capture up, make some positive FCD moves, something like that. And so this wall position is infinitely better than f3, even though they're still right next to each other. I have to think about where that stack might run to if you drop a wall next to it. So now white may decide to place, may decide to spread out. I would probably want to spread out, just take the top two flats of e3 and move them to f3. I feel like that's nice. It keeps me from making an immediate positive FCD move with something on this stack, which you know I'm going to want to capture up onto e3, basically no matter what. Could decide to move the whole thing over to f3, but I don't know how great that would be. All right, now, let's see. Now I capture. Or don't capture, sorry, I place at a5. So this is not attack threat for me. That is my dog. So not attack threat for me, but he can't make attack threat on the next turn. I have a wall here that's not doing anything at the moment, but it did keep him from making that spread and making renewing that attack threat, so that's nice. He probably wants to bring his capstone down onto his own piece here at c3. I feel like that's probably his strongest move, even though it's pretty counterintuitive. It might force me to bring my own capstone down onto b3. Yeah, it definitely would. I would totally do that. And that could prove to be an issue later on, so. But overall, I like my position here. I think it's pretty good. I'm pretty confident about it. Okay, so he played at d4. Now I gotta think. If he makes, so if I play here at b1, which is what I want to do, and he places over here, that's attack threat for him, but I cut that off by making this capture. He will, yeah. So after I play here, he's going to make a capture up probably onto b3. Maybe not. Maybe he won't. But I believe if he makes a placement anywhere, I can win. Okay, so he did bring the capstone down. I bring mine down. This is attack threat for me. Let's see how this plays out. This looks really good for me. I don't think it's Tinue, but it is dang close. I'm gonna tell you that much right now. It is dang close. So he needs to bring this A2 stack upwards, whether it be dropping up on A4 or even right here on A3 or moving up to A5. Doesn't matter. He needs to move this stack now to cut off my vertical threat. I guess he could decide to go for b6 left. I don't know. I think there's probably a Tinue here, but I probably can't see it. It might be too far out for me to see right now. And it will be interesting. I'm going to remember this position here on 18 after I go 2b4 minus. We'll have to see if Abyss created this Tinue finder bot called the Topaz bot or something, where it can search for Tinue. Also, Tiltac bot has an analysis function that can sometimes find Tinue, but the Topaz bot, I think, can find it much farther out. So it'll be interesting to see if there is actually one here. But ManaT is definitely taking his time on this move because he's probably thinking through several moves ahead. And I'm really bad at doing that without PT and Ninja. I would need PT and Ninja to really work through it all. Okay, so he made this move. It's important that I not just immediately capture there. But what is the move that I should make? I think placing it B4 might be my move. I think I'm right. I think B4 is the move here. So this renews my attack threat. I think this might be Tinue. I think I might have it. We'll see. Trying to think, this B6 spot, if it comes down, that does nothing. If it comes left, that stops me briefly, but then I just place it B6 and that renews it. If he tosses this up to A5, I can just recapture and renew. That placement works for him, but now I place at A2 and renew my threat. But I guess he can take this now and go down to A2 with it. Maybe it's not Tinue. I don't know, if he goes down to A2, I can bring my cap stack over, maybe? Nope, now it's Tinue. Yeah, now I've got it. So I think his move here shouldn't have been B1 left. It should have been the stack down to A2. I think that would have worked. And he already says GG, he saw it. Tricky little tack position. Yeah, I think this move here, this A3 stack minus, I think that might have stopped the Tinue. I think coming over, because if he did that stack, that A3 minus move, and I moved this left, should have known better against the king of edge crawl. So I was the king of edge crawl back 5 years ago when we played the 2016 Open tournament, and I was undefeated in the 5x5 size board, which we played first, before continuing on to play the second round in 6x6. And so I was undefeated in 5x5 because I just edge crawled the heck out of everything. And I was really good at it. Not so much anymore, but yes, I have a lot of practice. But yeah, I do think, I want to look at that move because that A3 minus move might have worked. And I am curious about that. So if he instead went this stack minus, I could move my capstone stack over, and that would be a threat, but then he can move the stack down again to A1, and it's no longer a threat. It would be if I placed it B2, then he comes up with, I don't know, it seems like he might have had a way out of it. But I'll have to check it out in PT and Ninja to make sure. And we'll throw it in some bots and see if the bots can find it. Anyway, that is all for today. Thanks for watching. That is my match against ManaT, and that is in the 2021 TAC Open Tournament. And this is the end of round 3, for me at least. And then we'll get some more games in round 4 and see who we're up against for that. But that is all. Again, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out the description below for all things TAC, especially the TAC Discord server, which is where you can find all sorts of people to play with online here on PlayTAC. Also online in the Discord itself using that awesome bot that ManaT himself created, the TAC bot, to play asynchronously with folks through the Discord. If you're unfamiliar with Discord, Discord is a online chat and voice chat program application. It's also a web browser thing. You don't even have to download anything. If you're on your computer, you can just go on and go to the discord.com and get it. right away without downloading anything. And the mobile app is great too. Anyway, awesome, 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 super fun stuff. And love to see you on there and get to play more games. This is where we organize all these tournaments and all that stuff. Anyway, that is all for today. And until next time, have a great day and happy tagging.